Let's talk about why Fat Fire is the best for us, and it might be the best one for you too. And we're frugal, and we could realistically retire with $50,000 a year to cover our basic expenses. And if you multiply that by 25, that's $1.25 million, and we call that Lean Fire. And you could be someone living in a rural area, so Lean Fire might be the right one for you too. And I've also talked about Coast Fire and Barista Fire, and I promise you I'm not making up these names. And if you're interested in those strategies, I'll put those links in the description below. Regular fire or traditional fire is where you can retire without any active income, living on anywhere between $50,000 and $90,000 a year. You'd be slightly more comfortable than Lean Fire unless you want to retire as a minimalist. Fat Fire can give you more flexibility and freedom to spend more money during your early retirement. Fat Fire is for high net worth and high income individuals who spend more money in an expensive city or like the flexibility to spend more money during their retirement. The nice thing about Fat Fire is we can always trim the fat, so to speak, when we have an economic recession, a crash in the stock market, or the housing market. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Sai and welcome. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why Fat Fire is right for us, how much we're going to have invested in Fat Fire, and how we could use securities-based lines of credit or SBLOC or SBLOC to borrow against our investment assets. Keep in mind that some of the numbers are hypothetical, especially the stock market returns. Our dream is to live in several locations around the world based on the weather seasons. And we haven't decided on where we want to go, but it's going to be somewhere that's always going to be warm. Before we reach our Fat Fire number at $2.8 million, we're going to travel around the US and the world to figure out what locations to retire comfortably. And you can check out these videos, and I will put those links in the description below. We expect our net worth to increase over the years, and it's going to be a lot higher than our Fat Fire number. The typical Fat Fire calculation is your total annual expenses multiplied by 25. We calculate our hours by multiplying our annual expenses by 28. Now, let's just say we're only going to live on a stock market portfolio, which isn't smart because I don't like having all our eggs in the same basket, right? So let's assume that we're going to live on the 4% withdrawal rate at $2.5 million, and that's $100,000 a year, right? I'm going to set the $300,000 aside, and I will explain that a little bit later in this video. I'm also going to assume our beloved Congress doesn't raise capital gains taxes and just keep it at a 0 or 15% rates. When we're retired, we would have $0 in taxable income, right? Then the long-term capital gains tax rate for us when we're retired is going to be 0%. Since we file our taxes jointly, and I'm using the 2022 tax calculator here, if our taxable income doesn't exceed $83,350, then we will have to pay 0% in capital gains taxes on the $100,000 that we withdraw. Do you see now why billionaires don't receive taxable income from their companies? Because the long-term capital gains tax rates are far cheaper than the federal income tax rates. And is this how I spell income? I figured it out because I have Grammarly. Grammarly can proofread your writing and save you so much time and make your writing look professional. I've been using Grammarly Premium since 2018, and it saves me so much time from having to proofread my emails. I also use Grammarly to proofread my resume, which got me a job paying 6 figures in salary. You can get the free version of Grammarly, and I will put my affiliate link in the description below. Another way to fund your lifestyle is possibly using the SBLOC or SBLOC. I haven't talked about SBLOC on this channel in a while, but if you're wondering what that is, you can check out the 3-minute video I made, and I will put that link in the description below. There is a reason why billionaires and millionaires don't like to sell their investments, and that's because they're essentially taking out money from their investments that could grow so much more in the future, right? This strategy is a little complicated and it might not necessarily apply to your needs, so please do your own research before you take out any form of debt. With the SBLOC, you're required to make monthly interest-only payments and the loan remains outstanding until you repay it. And this is straight from the SEC website. You should never bite more than you can chew when it comes to debt, okay? Let's say we have $3 million in our taxable brokerage account and our broker lets us borrow 50% of the value of equities, and that's $1.5 million, right? So basically we would have $1.5 million in a line of credit as long as the value of our portfolio doesn't drop. However, and this is a big one, so pay attention, If the value of our portfolio does drop below a certain threshold, and let's say it drops from $3 million to $2 million because of the stock market crash, then the broker could do what's called maintenance call or collateral call to make you repay some or all of the loan principal. So if you don't have the cash available, then they could liquidate some of your equities in your portfolio to pay back the loan. So you could end up selling your stocks at a loss, which would suck, right? You have to have some cash available in case of a collateral call. Now, let's talk about taxes and interest rates. And I'm going to once again assume that we're retired and we'll maintain below the $83,350 taxable income for the year 2022 to get that 0% capital gains tax rate. And SBLOC is considered a non-purpose loan, so we can't use that to buy stocks or other investments, but we could use it to purchase a vacation or rental properties or start a new business and possibly invest in other businesses. And what we could do is use the income we generate from other businesses to repay interest for the SBLOC. Now, I'm a private client with JP Morgan. I'm going to find out how they issue SBLOCs, but we shouldn't have to pay interest until we withdraw from it. And keep in mind that the interest rates could go up or down at any time, so make sure the spread is worth it. The higher the loan amount, the lower the interest rates get. So if our loan is 3% interest and our stock portfolio makes 10% on average every year, then it would be worth it for us without selling any investments. You can think of the SBLOC like HELOC, but instead your broker is using your investment account as collateral. Is this the right strategy for everyone? No, it's not. And I would probably pay back the loan or not use it at all during a bear market like we're seeing right now. I think it takes a meeting with your broker, your CPA, and your financial advisor to make sure it makes sense to you. Our focus is on buying equities until we're ready to retire. We're not selling anything unless we absolutely have to. And you should also check out the video I made about the buy, borrow, die strategy, and I will put that video link in the description below. By the way, you can get our free fire resources by visiting firesidechat.com/contact. You can also check out the Fireside Chat shop, and I have all of my stuff on my bookshelf at firesidechat.com/shopping. We can't use SBLOC without building our portfolios first, right? So we're in the buy stage of the buy, borrow, die strategy, and here's what we got so far. We're working on growing our dividend stock portfolio and growth stock portfolio that we know will grow to at least $2 million by the time we turn 45. I don't want to get too much into this because I already made a video about it and I'll put it in the description below. But to summarize it, here's how we'll withdraw from our accounts: dividends, capital gains from our growth stocks, and some cash. Remember when I mentioned putting aside that extra $300,000 from $2.8 million? That's going to be our cash to use during the first 5 years of our early retirement to make the 5-year conversion ladder happen from our TSP and 401k to our Roth IRAs. We're always going to have at least 2 to 3 years of expenses set aside during our early retirement just in case we go through a long bear market. The only account we'll not withdraw from is our Roth IRAs. And we want our Roth IRAs to grow tax-free as much as possible and as long as possible. But by the time we turn 60, we should have well over $4 million just in our Roth IRAs. As far as our employer-sponsored retirement accounts like 401k and TSP, the 5-year conversion ladder is going to be a big part of our early retirement strategy. Every dollar we convert from our employer-sponsored retirement accounts to our Roth IRAs is considered taxable income. And we just need to make sure we don't over-convert the money or we'll end up paying more taxes than we have to. The conversion strategy is very delicate, so I would recommend getting a CPA to make sure you have a tax strategy in place. But just to briefly summarize the 5-year conversion ladder, what happens is we'll roll over our traditional TSP or 401k to our traditional IRA, and then we'll convert it to our Roth IRA. And these conversions are taxed as federal income tax, and we have to wait 5 years to withdraw the conversion tax-free and penalty-free. We'll probably convert $50,000 to $60,000 at a time, so we don't pay more than 12% in taxes. 5 years later, we get to enjoy these conversions tax-free, and they won't even be counted towards our taxable income. I would strongly recommend that you watch this video, and I will put it in the description below. Our Fat Fire plan will allow us to live overseas and maybe several locations stateside. My wife and I haven't come to an agreement yet, but I want to get a condo in Hawaii and a vacation home in Florida. If you're looking to achieve Fat Fire, you have to save at least half of your income and live way below your means. The fastest way to achieve Fat Fire is to have a high income and high savings rate. Don't stop at a 50% savings rate, but keep going to a 60, 65, or 70% savings rate. Unfortunately, there's no way around it if you're trying to retire early with a high income. You need to stick to a budget, pay off your debt, and consistently invest. If you want to know more about how to invest for your future, be sure to check out these 2 videos. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.